So I'm here at the Retreat Clinic and I'm here with Lucy. Hello, Lucy.
Hello.
Hello. Great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
And on the comfy seats as well.
Yes, we've got the good seats out.
Yes. I love it. I love how branded everything is. I'm probably going to pick one of these up and start fidgeting with them at some point.
Absolutely.
Are we okay with that?
For sure. It's what they're there for.
Perfect. Now, Lucy, first of all, just tell me about your job. What do you do here at the Retreat Clinic?
So I am a senior occupational therapist and I work within the neurodevelopmental service, assessing children and young people for autism.
Fantastic. And that's what we're here to talk about today, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So first question, I suppose, for you is, if somebody's watching this right now and they're thinking, my child has traits of autism, might be autistic, what is it that they need to be looking for before they come and speak to you?
Yeah. I think it's really important to hold in mind that no two children are the same and there's not kind of a specific concrete checklist. But what is really helpful is thinking about how your child is interacting with the world and kind of noticing that and how they kind of perceive the world around them. I think for a lot of parents it can often start with a kind of gut feeling, a kind of sense that maybe something feels different or they're maybe noticing some differences. For a lot of children, it might be things around how they communicate themselves. So perhaps they don't use very many words, or that kind of backwards and forwards conversation can feel quite difficult, or they might have quite a unique way in which they kind of communicate to the people around them. I think for some children it's around social interaction, so how we connect with and respond to the people around us. I think as well for a lot of families they might notice some kind of early differences around kind of sensory sensitivities, perhaps.
Yeah.
So kind of noise or textures, maybe kind of feeling too much, or kind of the other end, I guess, really seeking lots of movement or kind of deep pressure or repetition. I think as well, another kind of common theme can be around play.
Yes.
And having quite intense, deep interests around their play, or quite repetitive play as well. And a preference for routine, sameness, familiarity, and actually when life kind of steps outside of that feeling kind of quite difficult for that young person. So I think those kind of might be some of the things that you might notice at home. Like I said, there isn't a concrete checklist, but it's looking at those patterns and looking to see if there's kind of consistency within that. And I always say to parents, trust your gut.
Yes.
And if you think there's something there, that's worth kind of exploring, do seek support around that.
And this is where they need to come.
And this is for sure one option. That they can consider in kind of weighing that up.
Yes. So when they make that decision then to come and to get an assessment or to come and chat to you, what does that look like? What does an autism assessment look like for a child or perhaps a teenager?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think one that can kind of feel like quite mysterious.
Yeah, and quite daunting as well for maybe a lot of people.
Yeah, and a lot of parents might be watching this thinking, well, how do I even kind of prepare my young person who maybe doesn't like the unknown or kind of change? So I think firstly at the retreat clinics, our assessments are gold standard, best practice guidelines, and you would be working with 2 clinicians kind of supporting you as a family, and they come from different professional backgrounds to really ensure that we are getting a balanced picture of your child and their needs. So one of the clinicians will be meeting with you as parents and carers in order to get a really detailed kind of developmental history. And what I kind of mean by that is understanding kind of things like early milestones, communication patterns, preferences around interaction and play, looking at different patterns of behaviours and kind of teasing apart some of those observations that often parents come with. The second clinician will then meet with your young person, and they will be using particular activities, conversations, play to really, these things are kind of designed to look at how their child responds, communicates, interacts as well. We also get information from your child's education provider as well. If there's other professionals involved, we want to kind of get information from there. And then it's a case of really pulling that information together to ensure that we've got a really good sense of your child, what their needs are, and whether or not their profile makes the most sense when looking at autism.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And it, like you say, it's that well-rounded approach of making sure that you've kind of spoken to not only the child, but everyone in their lives to kind of gauge what could be going on, absolutely. If somebody's watching this right now and thinking, well, that all makes sense to me, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if my child needs an assessment. What would you say, what advice would you give to the people that aren't sure about the assessment?
Yeah, I think it's a really big decision for a lot of families. I think there's lots of different elements in terms of practical, emotional, financial implications, and there are pros and cons, and I think we really understand that at retreat clinics. And I think, first and foremost, to kind of not feel pressure, and if you want to kind of talk that through with us, we're always more than happy to talk with families kind of informally to kind of think through whether or not this might be a good option for them. As part of our assessment process, we actually, before the kind of formal sessions would start as part of the kind of diagnostic pathway, we send out a specific questionnaire really asking for a lot of kind of detail around some of those patterns and those communication, social interaction, and that's actually reviewed by our clinical lead before we kind of start.
Right, okay.
And I think that can be really helpful because we wouldn't proceed with an assessment unless the clinical lead thinks, yeah, okay, I can see why the family are seeking this. And we'd be really transparent with you as well about maybe if other options should be considered. I think as well, if you're feeling really uncertain, one of the things that we do offer that can be a really helpful option for families is a initial diagnostic kind of consultation, and that's a 90-minute appointment with one of our therapists where we really seek to understand and kind of get a lot of information on your child, and you will get a report alongside that with recommendations.
Right, okay.
And it might be then at that stage we are kind of really strongly recommending, that makes sense to go ahead to pursue that formal diagnosis, or whether or not there be other things that we'd be recommending at that stage. And that can be a really good option for families that are feeling uncertain. And what's also worth mentioning is if then they decide to go for that full assessment with the retreat clinics, then the cost of that initial would be deducted from the assessment total, because there's a financial implication here that is really important in people's kind of consideration.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you guys are really inclusive, and you've really got the child's best interest at heart, the family's best interest at heart. You want to help these people. So what would be the benefits then of having the assessment? You go in for it, you're having the assessment. What would be the benefits?
Yeah, I think there's so many different reasons why families decide to kind of pursue a formal assessment for their child, and it can be kind of a deeply personal thing as well, with kind of various different pros and cons depending on kind of their situation. I think a diagnosis doesn't change who your child is. It's a confirmation of how they perceive and interact with the world that can be really, really helpful.
Yeah.
And often parents say to us, having that framework to understand that about their child gives a shared language for other people as well, to really ensure that they receive the correct support. And it can be hugely validating, I think, as well for parents to kind of have that insight and understanding for maybe things that they'd kind of been noticing for years. But I think most importantly, for that child and for that young person to have an understanding of themselves, to know and understand their neurotype, their strengths and their needs, and to be able to articulate that as they get older, and to be able to advocate for themselves, I think can be deeply empowering and really, really helpful for that young person.
Can make such a difference, can't it? Growing up knowing versus not knowing, and just having the tools and the support that you need to get through life in that way. You mentioned support, and I know that's something that you guys are really, really heavy on, and that's really important to you, because a lot of people might think, okay, right, I've got the diagnosis, now what? I don't want to be left in the dark. How do I continue with this? And that's something that you guys do really well here. So just talk to me a little bit about sort of the support that you get after the diagnosis.
Yeah, because that is such an important part, isn't it? And I think, like I said, a diagnosis is a confirmation of what's always been there. It doesn't change kind of who your child is, but actually if you're really struggling and you really want to ensure that you can put things in place to kind of enable them to thrive, sometimes it can feel really, really difficult to know kind of what to do for the best. So I think firstly, as part of our assessment report, diagnosis or no diagnosis, we would make tailored recommendations for your family, for your young person as a starting point. Resources, signposting, and that can be a really helpful first step. We also offer at retreat clinics post-diagnostic support sessions, and these can be a really helpful option for families. We can work directly with the parents, with the young person, depending on their age, both, and that's really to provide a space for them to understand their diagnosis, gain insight into their child's profile, but also to develop helpful supportive strategies as well that's going to really support your child to kind of thrive. We also work with adults as well. We've got a therapy service. We've also got an ADHD service. We can offer couples therapy as well. So we do have a really broad range of different approaches that we can offer that can be really helpful to ensure that we're kind of finding the right fit for you or for your young person as well.
Great. And if you're watching this right now, stay tuned, because we are actually going to get more information on that as the coming weeks progress, so stay with us. So Lucy, I know that's not the only thing that you do here at Retreat Clinic, so just tell me a little bit about how the other services that you do link to the autism assessments.
Yeah, so at the retreat clinics we have a children and young people's therapy service as well. So we can offer kind of a wide range of therapeutic approaches. We've got a really amazing team of therapists trained in kind of different modalities, meaning they can work with your child in different ways depending on what they might be struggling with, but also kind of their preferences. So we have play therapists, talking therapists, drama, art, kind of really using kind of creative resources. We've got some lovely therapy spaces. I can kind of show you those in a bit if you'd like to see as well. So we have a children and young people's therapy service, which you don't need a diagnosis in order to access. You know, we can support a wide range of difficulties, from kind of anxiety to bereavement to trauma, whatever it might be.
So before we go, if people are watching this right now and they're thinking they want to get in touch, they want to, you know, go on the next step, how do they get involved with you guys?
So they can go to our website, www.theretreatclinics.org.uk. That's kind of got all the information on there, our telephone numbers. We have the most wonderful team of administrators and receptionists. So if they want to give us a call to kind of talk through what their different options are, we would always kind of welcome that discussion. And of course, the usual social media places as well.
Awesome. Listen, Lucy, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.